TNO did a study shortly after Project X Haren to research the impact of social media on public safety. This is a digital reconstruction containing the influence of traditional media, the authorities and all stakeholders as it was observable on social media. This was the limerick about Project X that was doing the rounds on Twitter. Citizens, businesses and emergency services, which were in the front line of the violence, had never experienced such a frightful event. What started out as a joke got out of hand. The number of invitations to Merte's party spread widely among the youth, especially in the north of the country. But with all the media attention, it quickly became trending national news. Merte retracted her invitation, but the party was hijacked on September 7th by the 21-year-old Jessie Hobson from New Zealand and someone called Ibe der Führer. From then on, the event is charged with Project X. The characteristics of the Project X film is clearly visible in the messages that arise on the Facebook event page: a party with excessive alcohol and drug use, people on rooftops and vandalism. Details of the party are shared between followers online. Joop.nl brings the first media coverage about Haren on Sunday, September 16th, but without mentioning the name of the town. Other media are quiet, but this changed after Trouw posted an article on Tuesday, September 18th. Up until then, almost 5,000 people signed up for Project X. The message of the emergency regulation implies that the municipality is apparently taking things seriously. The news is then taken over by various news media with links to the landing page on Facebook, and some even directly copy the promotional material from the crowd. That Tuesday, the numbers double, and a few days later, more than 200,000 people have been invited, of which 40,000 confirmed the invitation. Using a number of tools, we have analyzed how the online traffic on Project X developed. In the following animation that was created using Twitsident, we can see how the number of Twitter messages about Project X Haren develops over time. This map shows the geographical development of the Twitterverse throughout the Netherlands for Project X Haren. This matrix shows how the number of messages increases for each of the themes. This ranges from a few messages a day to a few thousand per minute. All tweets that indicate a possible incident or threat are classified in the corresponding themes. Friday the 21st has huge peaks topping 3,000 tweets per minute. The category of violence-related messages shows little indicators at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Around 7:30 in the evening, thousands of visitors arrive in Haren. The atmosphere is initially pleasant, but by 9 o'clock this turns around and the riots start. We have compared the traffic on Facebook to the traffic on Twitter. The Facebook volume of 60,000 messages on the public event page comprises less than 10% of the number of tweets. Both Twitter and Facebook have a so-called heartbeat, which shows the everyday traffic flow. Especially in the afternoon, the traffic increases. Facebook was the growing seed, but the role of Twitter was important in the running up to and the live reporting of the event. We will elaborate some more on the research that we have done. In this digital analysis of Project X, we look closer at 4 questions. Could you have seen this coming? In other words, is it possible to identify risks and threats through social media at an early stage? How does a spark move into a viral, and how to stop one? And what was the influence of the mass media and authorities? Can the course of developments be predicted? In other words, can one be prepared for it? And how do you maintain public order and security with 3,000 messages per minute? Or in other words, how can you filter and interpret messages in a smart way? Finally, we've also looked at the impact of rumors on public order. For each question, we will briefly explain the findings that we have done. We have linked 1,000 Facebook accounts to Twitter accounts. This heat map shows how these users were active on both Twitter and Facebook. The left side lists these users and time runs from left to right. The brighter the block, the more posts. The graph shows that users were much more active on Facebook, in purple, than on Twitter, in blue, in the preliminary phase. There are a few tweets before the 20th that suggest the potential use of violence. In the second stage, the spark caught on from Facebook to a larger group of people. What was the role of the youngsters, the media and authorities? In short, who was actually influenced by whom?
1, 2, 3, do it! Do it!
First, the youngsters. Within no time, various groups create promotional material that many festival organizers would envy. The 80-20 rule does not apply here. There's no core group of 20% on social media that dominates and creates 80% of the coverage, but instead large new groups get involved in the discussion. Looking into the influence of the traditional media, we zoom in on the TV shows De Wereld Draait Door, Radio 3FM, Trouw newspaper, national news broadcaster NOS and local broadcaster RTV Noord. The graph shows the sheer volume of influence expressed here in retweets and mentions. Notice the peak of the NOS with the news about the emergency regulation, while newspaper Trouw was first to bring that news. RTV Noord has greater influence during the live reporting. The influence of the media is present in the early stages on Facebook, although the media did not post any messages. The party is bound to be the news of the year.
Met Maarten.
Dag Maarten, met Meerte. Meerte, hè? Met Timur en Koen van 3FM.
Hi.
Hi. Het feestje van binnenkort. Hoe laat begint die, vroegen wij ons af.
Ja, dat is een hele leuke vraag, maar ik mag er niks over zeggen.
Oh, is het jouw feestje? Nee, toch?
Ja.
Shifting towards Twitter, the extent of media influence enlarges. It is not clear by which media young people are affected most. The direct influence of the traditional media and the authorities is very small compared to the influence within the young crowd itself. The influence of the authorities diminishes almost completely in the afternoon of the 20th. Could we have seen this amount of traffic coming? Based on 4 different components, we have established a predictive model. The model shows that on the basis of Twitter messages, the volume after 24 hours can be determined. The right graph shows that without knowledge of the 21st, the activity will not just decline. We have taken the natural heartbeat of Twitter into account, which is a recurring pattern that we know from the earthquake in Japan and the uprising in Libya. To attain high-quality intelligence prior to and during an event, it is necessary to filter social media in a smart way. The information will affect police efforts and communication. Situations change very quickly, and very frequently situation reports are needed as an input for decision-making. The event monitor of Twitcident helps do this. But smart filtering is not enough. Interpretation by people with expert knowledge is necessary. For example, take the messages that are important for crowd control. The size of the crowd was expressed in numerous tweets, but many of these pictures were a joke or fake. Rumors with only 140 characters, usually meant as joke, can have an enormous impact on public safety. It can lead to unnecessary anxiety and panic in the crowd or relatives at home, and cause unnecessary extra burden for authorities. First, at the start of the riots, the Hells Angels posted, "Do we need to come there and help?" This message was propagated very fast and was often repeated. Twitter users reported that they witnessed Hells Angels driving through the streets towards Haren. This word cloud shows the snapshot in which the Hells Angels were trending topic, and Haren did not know what to expect anymore. F-side, Z-side, many groups are mentioned. The social graph shows how the influence of the authority advisor is completely drowned out by one tweet of the Hells Angels in just minutes. Then the rumor of the girl crushed to death. Along some others, a guy from the area of Rotterdam posts the rumor. After a few minutes, the rumor gets traction, and around 10 o'clock that night, it is trending. This tweet ripple shows that not one tweet is responsible for all retweets. At first, it is not picked up, but after a few minutes, there are a number of independent tweets, The independence may indicate an external source or relationship outside of Twitter. The self-correcting mechanism of the crowd was barely present, which is indicated by the red-dotted tweets that question or deny the claim. The account of the Project X livestream is a major influencer in the spread of the rumor. Finally, a summary and answers to the questions asked. The volumes and threats were there, but are still difficult to interpret. Mass media attention provides the spark to expand to other groups. Early intervention is the key. Within a certain range, yes, but human behavior remains unpredictable. Yes, with smart filters and expertise to be able to identify, interpret, and intervene. Rumors are difficult to prosecute, but fast refutation or just communication by authorities is necessary.